Alrighty. Boop. Close that. Move you over here to this page. Oh, right, there's just an empty spot. All right, scroll up. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so can't see around that. Why can I not see around that? Stupid. Okay. Copy. Boop. There we go. There we go. No, not now. It's fine. Posted. All right. It's posted. It's posted. It's posted. Hey, buddy. How's it going? You sound fun. Oh, okay. Thanks. Is that Nixon? Is that who that is? Let's turn down. Where do I have the music? Foo-poo. Turn that off. Alrighty. Go ahead and shrink that. Boop-a-doo. Okay. All right. So, today, I did a very, very interesting project for a client. And it had to do with a lot of editing, had to do with a lot of laying out layers. And the project was kind of like a puppet show for kids. So I'm doing all the voices, and they wanted the music and then the background sound effects and all the different characters to be talking to each other, and they wanted it all one take. Which was actually kind of very confusing because that's not what originally we had talked about and negotiated about. You know, at first I thought I was just going to be doing all the voices and sending it to her, and then she started adding all this stuff, and eventually I finally understood what she wanted, and so this is what I was doing today, and I had to clear out my schedule yesterday to make sure that I had, I had the time that I could sit down at this desk instead of just in my recording studio to really, work on something like this, because something like this takes hours. I think we got home after running some errands at around like 11:30, and at around, I want to say like 2:30, I was done editing this. And I had to do a few pickup lines, and I had to record a few extra voices, but I didn't do any extra takes because I knew that I was going to be choosing the lines. So I recorded what I felt was appropriate. If I'm sending it to the client, I'll record a lot of different takes, with some different inflection or some different speed or some different emotion based on my interpretation of the script, and then I'll send it to them to give them some options. It kind of moves the project along, kind of helps the client. But since they wanted me to edit it and me to choose the lines, I just did one take. I was like, that's good. That's what I'm going with. And I did it. And then I just recorded and I edited it all in. But that got me thinking. I'm not going to play this for you, but that got me thinking about all the editing that I've been doing. And not too long ago, I obviously was talking about, I think someone just chimed in. Can I ask you a question, please? Apart from, yeah, go for it. You can ask me any question. I'll answer away. It's not like there's going to be a topic and I'm like, no, not today. You must come back a different time. Ask away, go for it. That's why I put Q&A in there. Normally when I do a live stream, not normally, I seldomly do live streams. What I'll do is I will, have a topic, and then I'll talk about that. But in between, you guys can ask me whatever. But anyway, the program that I'm working with is Sony Vegas Pro 15. It's the program that I started working with. The first program that I ever learned how to do video editing was Sony Vegas, and that's just the one that I've just been keeping up with, just the one that I've been continuing with. Yes, I do have a copy of Adobe Premiere and After Effects and, the entire Adobe suite, but I don't really use it. It has such a steep learning curve, and I've been doing this one for years. For someone who has never used Sony Vegas, it may be difficult, but due to the fact that I've just been using it since I was, 16? I think 16. So, yeah. Can we hear a sample of this project? No. I'd say no. I didn't ask the client if you could have permission. But I do have other projects up that I am going to be talking about. These are ones that I'm doing. These are ones that, I don't have to ask anybody's permission. And obviously, Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper is the one that I wanted to talk about. There's another project that I haven't told anybody that I'm doing, except for Steven. Steven knows. And I think Nathan, my older brother. So my younger brother and my older brother know. But other than that, okay, so this is the simple version of Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper. This one just has the watermark, which is this right here. It has the Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper video and audio mix, and then it has the opening crawl and the ending credits, which is just done in all these layers. And the reason that I have this one mixed is because I've already done all the editing on that entire video elsewhere. And I think I even did all the editing for the opening crawl, and then a lot of the musical soundtrack is edited somewhere else. And then that way it's not so many layers. Yes, in Adobe and other programs, you'll be able to work on it over here and then transfer it over. But my projects are not that large. Here is the full-sized, oh my God, can I even open this all the way? The full-sized Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper video. Now, this doesn't have the animation. I mean, it has the video on it, but it doesn't have the animation because I outsourced that to a San Antonio animation company. They're called Husky Tiger Studio. Great guys. I was searching around for someone to animate Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper, and I eventually stumbled upon them, and I emailed them, and they contacted me, and I asked for a sample, asked for a demo, but they didn't really have anything as far as cartoon demos. They didn't really have anything in animation. And I was about to walk away, and they said, let us quickly do some quick sample for you, and then if you like it, then we'll continue from there. And so we did, and they sent me. Let's see if I can pull it up. I got a lot of projects I'm working on, and I think the first one they sent me was really, really rough, and I think it was this.
Well,
what?
Have you found what you're looking for?
That's what they sent me, if I remember correctly. That was the first thing they sent me. Of course, they watermarked it, and it's only 12 seconds, 10 seconds or whatever. And so they sent me that, and that was what they sent in a couple weeks, I think. And so I was like, I'm going with them. I'm doing that. But I'm about to get to some questions in a second. But all they did is they took my storyboard, my animatic that I did with the voiceover, the basic voiceover that was included in that. And then after I got it, I did all the Foley work. I had someone do all the music, and I had some background noise. I did all the footsteps, and I kind of moved their audio around a little bit. Not too much because it affects their animation, but I moved some of them around to fit with the animation a little bit better. So now let's get to some questions. Let's see. I keep seeing them pop up. I have this screen active, so I keep seeing them pop up. Is AKG Perception, AKG Perception 420 condenser microphone good enough for home vocal? Let me look that up real quick. Let me look that up. That is an excellent question, good sir. It sounds familiar. It sounds familiar. I haven't worked with every single microphone. So, let's see. AKG, what was it, 420? Was it 240? 420? 240. 420. 420. It sounds familiar. I've probably... That's the one that I think it is. Then... Yes. That is actually a really, really good starter mic. I know a couple people that actually use it or have used it and started out their career using it. That and the MXL series and the Audio-Technica 2020 are kind of like, those are like your standard start out microphones. So yeah, if you're looking to get into voiceover, that is kind of, it's a good place to start. Also, it's a $200 mic. I think they have a $100 mic that's kind of like in the same vein as that one. That's a little bit cheaper. It might be a discontinued one, but you can probably find it for $100 or even less. Its noise floor is a little bit higher, and I think it's sharper, but those microphones are actually a really good starter mic. So yeah, there you go. Can I hear the vocal style you used then? What? Can I use the vocal style of the past project or this project? What are you talking about? When you actually, there's a little bit of lag, so when you actually hear that, just go ahead and message down below. But what I'm going to be doing is we're going to look at some of these that I did. Where are the Foley tracks? Okay, so I have in here, I think these are, what are these?
Droids!
I think that's the solo that. Yeah. All right, so all the walkie-talkie sounds, I put those in manually. Okay, I remember what I did. Okay, so here is her audio. I think I just took all the audio from the animatic instead of taking it as the condensed version, and then brought it in here so that I could work with them a little bit more individually. And so I just added all the sound effects back in, so that I'd have more control instead of mixing it all from the animatic. Now I can tinker with it a little bit better. And I think I even changed like the EQ and the compression a little bit on the two characters. But first thing I'd like to explain here is I wanted to give it a little bit more of a stereo sound instead of just being mono. So what I did is, oh, you're welcome. If that helps you with your voiceover, then cool. And if you do like a video review, let me know. Send me a message. I'd love to hear it. So what I did to give it a little bit more of a stereo sound, to make it sound more like the two characters, I'm going to go ahead and hope you guys are listening to this in stereo.
Well,
what?
have you found what you're looking for?
Not yet. I've just been browsing.
Browsing? We're in armor, in the desert.
Okay.
We don't just browse.
All right, so you hear how one character is more on one side than the other. I wanted to have the actual relation to them on screen, as if you were actually looking at them, like you're actually standing close to them in between them. So what I did is I doubled the tracks, and I have one that's set all the way to the left and one that's set all the way to the right. And then I go in, and then I insert these. They're called envelopes in Sony Vegas, and there's mute, there's pan, and then there's volume. Pan will give you from the left to the right, but I wanted to have a more fuller, clearer sound, so I went ahead and just did volume. So I'll have one track that is all the way to the left, one is all the way to the right, and when he is over here, his left audio will be louder. I'll have the volume up higher, and then as he moves over...
Okay, fine.
As he moves over,
How about that one?
he moves over to the right side. And so now I've brought down the left audio down a little bit and the right audio up. And I have them at basically the same level, basically as they were, but now just opposite. It gives you a little bit more of a 3D feel. That was what I was going for. And same thing with her. And with her, it just reverses. That's all it does, really. I did a little bit more tweaking with her. There's a little bit more ups and downs that I to compete with the music and the sound effects that I brought her audio up. I'm going to go back to the questions real quick. Used for the past project. Can I hear your voice style? Oh, for the one with the client, I did 7 voices. One of them, it was a character called DJ, and at first she wanted me to do a black guy, black voice, and he's supposed to be like a rapper, and I was like, let's compromise. Let's how about I do like a radio DJ instead? And so I did like a Wolfman Jack. Hey, Wolfman Jack. So that's what I did instead, because I didn't feel comfortable doing like a black guy voice. It just wasn't something I was prepared to do. Then I did a kid voice, and he was supposed to be kind of almost like a Cartman, like talks like this. And then I did like an older guy who I did like an Ian McKellen. And then there was some evil, I think it was like an evil snake or something like that. He's like, yes, talk like this. Very pronounced on the S's. And then, but then they also wanted me to do a girl character, a little girl. And I told them at first, I was like, I'm not doing that. And they kept insisting. And so what I sent to them was just the shrillest, most obnoxious sounds that I could make. And it was absolutely awful. So yeah. But those are basically the voices that I did for that one. And so, almost knocked this off. Oh, thanks so much. You said the puppet show. The puppet show is the thing that I was talking about. But with the puppet show is basically, I'm sending them this full, almost like a radio play, and then they're just going to have the puppets just opening and closing their mouths along with the track that I send them, including the music and everything. So that's what the puppet show thing was. It's all those voices. All right, so back to this. Keep hydrated. Especially when you do a Wolfman Jack. I don't think I've ever actually heard Wolfman Jack. Okay. So for the same thing, when she's crossing across him, there's obviously, she's crossing across the screen very quickly, so there's a very drastic change in volume.
We're leaving.
Let's go ahead and do that right over here.
Hey, that's it. We're leaving. And you need to calm down.
And then it just fades out as she walks away. So that was that. All right, turn all this off. Now, the fun part about this, I don't know why, but I really, really enjoy doing Foley work. And Foley work, for those who don't know, is when you do all the footsteps or the sound effects or the rustling, which is going to be all of this stuff down here. What was that? I don't remember what that was. Okay. So I have all of these, which should all be sound effects. There's just a blank track right there, I just noticed. Nothing in that one. All right, so I'm going to solo these. I'm Han Solo. Okay, sorry. So for these ones, I did these, it was them walking in the sand, and then I also wanted like this rustling sound effect of his gun. I could have done more sound effects. Me and Steven were trying to find, like some sound effects for like armor moving around, but we couldn't find anything. We were searching like pots and pans and plastic tubes and stuff like that. We'll probably find something later on if I ever have like the characters like falling down steps or something like that, which I don't think I have planned for it. But for right now, I just left that out, and so I just focused on footsteps, the droid sound effects, and the his shaking of the gun, and then things like wind and stuff like that. So, all right. So the the sound of their footsteps and the grinding, we actually went out and we found a variety of small rocks, pebbles, sand, dirt, and we actually basically we put it in a little oven, little pan, and we baked it to actually dry it out, which took a lot of work, and my allergies were flaring up. But we got that dry, crunching dirt sound that we were going for. We got the Foley box. I think I did a video on the Foley box. Not really making it because we kind of we just threw it together real quick in like a single evening. So I didn't really record how to make a Foley box. But I have a video showing off the Foley box. And it's about, I don't know, 3 feet by 3 feet. And then like 8 inches deep maybe. Enough that you could pour a good amount of sand and kind of like step in it. And so I set it up in there because it's got all the acoustic foam on the wall. And then I set up I think this same mic, the 87.5R, there. I think I also had a small pencil condenser microphone that was a little bit closer, just to give me a variety of sounds. So I had the stereo microphone on top of the Zoom H6, and then I had the 87.5R, and then I had the small pencil condenser, which the one that turned out the best was the one that came from this one, the audio that came from that. Switching to Mr. and Mrs. Stormtrooper, is there still the ability to email me and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it as far as doing any voiceover. There's actually been a couple of people that have actually messaged me about doing voices in this project. As of right now, there's not really like it's not really an open casting call. Just because I've tried stuff like that before. I've tried reaching out to people, and I've tried leaving stuff open, and normally there's not really the turnout that I would like. But it depends on the quality of the microphone. It depends on the quality of your skill. Not the quality of skill, just skill in general. So you could email me. And we could talk about it. But if anyone's wanting to know if there's any questions, then yeah, you can always email me. You can always email me for anything. Just email me. It's just like, hey, can you sing Happy Birthday? And I'd be like, email me. I don't know if I'll sing Happy Birthday. But okay, so yeah, we have the sound effects of the dirt, which is literally just me just standing there, just kind of sliding my feet side to side and up and down. For both characters. And what I did is I recorded myself just focusing on one character at a time. So first was Mr. Stormtrooper, just focusing on him. And I think I did like 5 or 6 takes for footsteps. And then after that, then I focused on Mrs. Stormtrooper, and same thing. And I started recording, all of her steps. And I think it was like 5 or 6 takes as well. And I had to piece it together here and there. Pieces of of one take were good, pieces of another take were really good, and so I just had to like Frankenstitch something together, which actually turned out really good. And then when it comes to, let's go ahead and turn those off, this, which is the gun sound. And what I actually had to do the gun sound, I actually have a metal airsoft gun, which is like weight, and it's kind of broken, so it rattles a little bit. And there was another piece of metal, I think it was like a metal tube or something like that I was holding together, and I was just holding them and shaking them anytime that he would move his move the gun, like kind of drastically. It'd be a big shake. If it's a small slow movement, it'd be kind of a small shake. It's very hard to describe. I think I recorded myself doing it. I'm gonna maybe do it like a behind the scenes, but this is all stuff that I just had around the house. And so anytime he's like moving it like right there, it's actually one of my favorites. It's just like that one. Okay. Let's see, what else do we got? Now all the droid sounds were all me. Every single one of the droid noises. The droises. Is that right? I don't think that's right. So all these droid sounds, again, are all me. I tried looking up sound effects for droids. But here's the thing. This project is kind of tricky legally. In order for me to be able to actually produce this, it literally all has to be made from scratch. All the noises, all the sound effects, all the music, the characters, I can't use any art. All of this was all done from scratch or is royalty-free stuff that I had acquired. And I think the only thing that I actually had to find on my own is like the speeder sound. That was the only thing that I wasn't able to make myself. It was the speeder sound, which I actually looked up how they made the sound effect from, from Star Wars, and it's a specific jet engine. I think it's from it's like a twin jet plane, small twin jet plane, and they use it. And then I threw in like a car sound, which actually sounds really, really good. It actually sounds pretty much exactly the way it is, except for the fact that I actually also added like a little bit of a sputter because I wanted it to be cartoony. And then I added kind of a screech as it peels off. But for the most part, in order for me to do this project, everything has to be made from scratch. I literally cannot use anything of theirs. So, and that included the music that I found someone to do the opening crawl, and they did a real good job with that. Same thing with the musical score. So I found someone to do the musical score and someone to do the opening crawl. And I searched for a while to find them. So yeah, if there's any questions on that, then I'll be moving on to the second project that I'm working on that I haven't told anyone about yet. So that'll be coming out. Are there any more questions? There are no more questions. All right. So then we're going to move right along. So there's that. So now we are going to go to... Well, now it's available. Anyone can see it. This is the other thing I'm working on. But this is not a paid project. This is not a funded project. This is a fun project. Now, if I can just find the project file... Oh, there you are. Alrighty. This is when it gets good. Okay. Let's full screen this. Glitching out for a second. Woo! This is the largest project I have ever worked on. Okay. This is, for anyone who doesn't know, this is Super Mario Brothers. Let's see if I can remember the whole name. Super Mario Brothers, the Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach. I think that's what it is. It's a super long title because it's translated from Japanese. Okay, so I had seen all over the place, there was a whole bunch of people doing a edit or a dub, not really an edit, but a dub of this particular film. It's from back in, I want to say the 80s or 70s. Yes, it is. This is exactly what you think it is. But I had been watching, all these other people's edits, not really edits, dubs, and I'll explain. And no one was really putting that much effort. All they were taking is the exact same footage, and they were just dubbing over it, which is fine, except for the fact that they were all sounding the same. They were all doing the voices the same. They were reading from the same script. This is multiple different people on YouTube doing this project. And, they're using the same sound effects, which is the old Mario sound effects for literally every single sound effect. And they're using the exact same music that is in the original cartoon. So what I did is I decided I'm not... I want there to be a high-quality professional version of this. But this has actually been kind of a learning experience for me. The purpose of this project for me is really, learning how to really tackle a project of this scope, a film of this size. And it started out where I was just going to be doing a dub like everyone else, and I was just going to do some color editing. But there was a lot of stuff that I had to fix. There was actually a lot of things that is in this film that huge errors. First of all, it's VHS, which is the only copy that there is. The original film is just the only copy that you can find is a digital copy of a VHS. And I don't think you can buy this online, or it's so rare. And if you can find a VHS, it's probably in really, really poor quality. So what I've been going through is I've actually been restoring this. I've been going in and getting rid of the VHS errors, the VHS lines and burn spots and fuzzy bits. So when you see a lot of these cuts right here, what I'm actually doing is come on, it's not working with me. Is it affecting that over there? No, it's just affecting this. There'll be like a single frame where there will be that little VHS line. And so what I'll do is I'll cut out that one frame and delete it and then squeeze everything in. So that's how I'm getting rid of a lot of the VHS lines. Is I'm getting rid of a lot of the blur going across the screen. For some reason, my keyboard's just acting up. So that's what a lot of these cuts are. And then I had to go in and do a lot of color correcting because it's VHS, there's a lot of chroma bleeding. And so sometimes some shots, they'll be very yellow, and so I have to bring the blue and the red up and the yellow down. And then other shots, they'll be more blue, and so I have to do the opposite. And so I'm just going through one scene or one frame at a time. But I'm not just editing it. I'm also going to be dubbing it, and again, finding someone to do a musical track, and then doing a lot of redoing all the voiceover. I'm actually rewriting the script to almost a different story, almost a different cartoon. Like, for example, this scene right here where they meet, I'm guessing Father Time, whoever the heck he is. I cut up a lot of this. If you've seen the original, I cut up a lot of this and moved a lot of stuff around. I've just completely deleted the audio and to kind of retell a different narrative. There's pieces. Now, in the original, when they see him, he starts talking, I think it was about gold or something, and this scene right here, oh, come on. Why is my keyboard battery dying or something? Okay, so here it is. Okay, so this part right here normally would have Luigi dancing around, being all happy that, gold, yay, gold, and stuff like that. But what I did is I cut that completely. I wanted to change Luigi and Mario to both being incredibly passionate characters, to both being more of heroes, instead of Luigi just being this coward and this kind of this greedy, gold-obsessed, money-grubbing. It was very weird. It was very weird, the narrative that they had for Luigi. So what I did is I actually have this one track over it, this one shot. So there's him where he's dancing, where Mario's more or less mourning, what's going to happen to Princess Peach, while Luigi is just dancing. But what I did is I just took a still of Luigi and just kind of stretched it across this and then blurred the frame. So it looks like Luigi is just standing there as Mario acts, and it's very short, so you hardly even notice it. It's basically nothing. And so that's more or less what I'm doing. So it's not just an edit. So it's not just overdubbing. I'm cleaning it up. I'm, changing a lot of, these. There was also kind of a racist Mario dancing as some kind of weird Mexican thing, and I just cut that out just because it was weird. And where's the next one? Where is the next one? Okay. I've also been adding my own frames, my own cells to this. And so here, to fit my script, let me go ahead and pull up the script that I'm working on for this. Where are you? Okay. So this, oh, I don't need that. That's the project that I was working on earlier. Okay, so this is my script. So what I basically did to do this, I'm jumping all over the place, I'm so sorry, is I actually went to the video that, you know, everyone, my manned salve, your man salve? I don't know what that means. You my man salve too. I don't know. Please explain. Please explain. So what I actually did is I actually went in and I actually got the original transcript, I guess, of the video. You know, when you can have the translate and the you made yourself. Yes. Oh, is that a are you translating for him? Is that what that is? Good. Good. I hope you like it. I hope you like it. So what I did is I actually went in and I grabbed the translation or the transcript and I copied it and I brought it in here, but there was a lot of the wording and the pacing was really off. If you've ever done voiceover where you've ever had to match lips, English and Japanese doesn't translate very well, which is why there's a lot of very odd things in animes. Because you know, the characters will say or do something really weird because they have to match the lip flaps. So I'm rewriting this more or less to match the lip flaps. Yes, I could increase the number of frames so that I could get all that in, but I'm not entirely sure that the translation that I was working with is a perfect translation. So it's kind of broken English, didn't really tell the right narrative. So what I'm going through is I'm actually going through and retyping up the script from beginning to end. And all I have is this down here that kind of tells me, you know, characters' names. So this is as far as I've gone so far. As this is just going through and giving me characters' names. So anytime there's like a new character that comes in, I just scroll and like, how's that spelled? What's the character's name? Like, where is it? Canopia. Or I think in the original it was Canopio. The character is called Canopio. And it's clearly supposed to be a girl, the way it, you know, presents itself, the way it stands there. So I wanted to call it Canopia. I just changed one thing. The name is never actually, I don't think the name actually comes up. But I changed it just to remind myself that I'm looking for a female voice to do that character. And so I have all the characters color coded to remind me for later. It's better to color code it as I'm doing it rather than color code it later. This also helps when I'm looking for other voice actors and voice talent, which when I am looking for voice actors to help me with this project, I will let y'all know. I'll do a big thing. There'll be an email that y'all can email and all that kind of stuff too. So I have all them color-coded just to help me stay focused. And then all this in black is for sound effects because I have to do all the sound effects. So I'm going through, and as I'm editing the film, I'm reminding myself, okay, so I need this sound effect and I need this sound effect. So I'm doing that as I'm editing. So as I'm going through and I'm cutting all this, I'm actually going through and writing the script as I'm editing it. There's a few edits that I've done far along. I see some questions. I'll get to that in a second. Far along or farther along than the script. But for the most part, it's... pretty much neck and neck. Let's see, where is an edit that I'm really proud of? Okay, so, what did he do here? Oh, right, okay. Now, this is what I mean by a lot of mistakes. Actually, first I'm going to answer these questions, then I'm going to explain mistakes in this film and how I've been editing it. Okay, so, hey, Timmy, good stuff, thank you. I'm trying to understand what he said. Okay, okay. You're gonna be an ambassador for me. Canopio is a Pinocchio. Canopio is a Pinocchio. As in Pinocchio. Yeah, I know it's Canopio, but I changed it to Canopia. I mean, this is my script now. It's my edit. I just want to change it. I don't want to change it. But yeah, I know it's like Pinocchio. Okay. All right, so there were a few errors. And so a lot of this in here, a lot of these little edits, is me fixing something that was an actual mistake in the film. And so I'm going to turn this off for a second. I'm going to show you what it is, and it'll be obvious to you. So I'm going to go through. There's Luigi. He's standing there. He goes. And then all of a sudden, for no reason, he's behind Mario. So what I did is I took Mario. I went into GIMP. I basically took a still frame of this and then I sent that to GIMP, and then I just made an alpha of just Mario all over the place. And then I just laid it over, just matched it up with that, and then played it all the way until it's no longer needed. So it just kind of covers Mario where he's standing. Mute that. Oh, I'm muting the wrong one. That's why, because I'm an idiot. So that's what it looks like without my edit. That's what it looks like. So a lot of what I'm doing, that's what I mean by restoration or fixing stuff. And then same thing here. I don't know who was inking this. I have no idea who was inking this project. But keep an eye on his eye, basically. So you're going to watch it. You're going to see it in a little bit. There you go. Right there. And that is his arm showing through his head, which just was so distracting. I know for a lot of people they wouldn't even notice, but for me I was like, how is that possible? Someone paid you to do this. So again, I took a still frame of this, and then I made an alpha of just his glasses, and then laid it over and kind of matched his movement a little bit. There's a little bit of tweaking that I could have done. We can kind of see where it kind of stays still, but its head kind of jitters a little bit. But for the most part, it totally fixes the problem. Is Steven involved in the project as well? Kind of. Steven's kind of involved in a lot of these. I'll often show him and, get his advice. He's a huge fan of Luigi, so I'm trying to do Luigi proud, because I know if I screw up Luigi, he'll beat the shit out of me. So I'm trying really hard. Steven's a huge fan of Luigi because he's the underdog. 3 cheers for the underdogs. Also, he's the younger brother, the taller younger brother. So I think that Steven has some kind of connection with Luigi. I don't know. Not entirely sure. That's cool. I'm glad you like it. Limited animation back then. Yeah. Here's an explanation to a lot of the old animation problems. And I know this because I, do a lot of research into animation and voiceover, because it's an industry that I'm trying to get into. When it comes to animation, what they'll often do is each scene, each section, or each couple minutes will be done by a different collection of artists and animators. And they're all supposed to try to match each other's art style. And the reason they do this is so they can get it done faster. They're under a deadline. And so you have a lot of different people involved, all trying to more or less, draw the same image and then ink the same image and keep the colors consistent. And they're trying to be really quick and fast about it because they have a deadline, because they're being paid. So, when you have that many people and you're being pressured by that much, yes, you are going to see a lot of errors and mistakes. But the fortunate thing about today is that we can easily fix these problems. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so there was this shot right here. This is another one that I'm fixing. This shot right here. Now, this is just a continuity error, and I think this one is another example of one person was drawing this section, this animation, and then someone else was drawing the following sequence. So someone drew that, and then someone draws this. But here's the thing. I'm going to put that right there. Boop. That wasn't there. I did that. So originally, it was him flying by with a shell in his hand, or a ball or whatever, and then he would be just standing there, and he would tell these guys to attack. And I thought it was a continuity error, and he was also still flying, so I went in, and I put all of this back in. I put this in, and let's see if we can just scrub this. So you can kind of see it right here. It's kind of really bright, and this is kind of like dull, and it's kind of like really soft, and this was a little too sharp. So what I did is there's another section, there's another part. Where is it? Where he throws, I think it's in here or something. Nope, come on. Where are you? Oh, earlier when he's throwing. Okay. So I think it's, come on. Do I gotta zoom out? Do I really have to do this? Bruh, where is you, bruh? Where is you, bruh? There it is. Okay. Wow, it took me forever to find that. So I took this one, took this shot, again, went into GIMP or Photoshop, and I cut that out and made an alpha, and then I went back over here, and then laid it over and matched his hand movement, and then just had to rotoscope around his head. Now, in a still frame, you'd be able to tell that that's obviously edited in, but when it's just playing through, it's barely noticeable. Now, again, because it's barely noticeable, you're thinking, why would you bother? Because I'm a freak, because I'm a neat freak, and I hate myself, and I hate all my free time, and I want to spend all my free time with just fixing people's mistakes. Okay, so there was another, this one's kind of easy. So Mario comes in, he, is flying, and then originally, there was none of this here. Originally, that wasn't there, and then all of a sudden, he just has these controls. So he's no controls. And again, continuity error, and it's driving me crazy. So what I did is I added these controls kind of popping out of the cloud like one frame at a time. It looks a little awkward. Let's see. But it does match up with the movement a little bit. So, would you match the audio quality as well? I don't know. I don't think that I'm going to be going for like trying to make it sound like an old 70s cartoon. I'm probably going to be trying to make it sound more modern and more contemporary as far as the quality goes. These are just markers. I'm moving these over. I don't think so. I don't know why I would. I mean, if I'm trying to clean up the image and trying to clean up, a lot of these tiny mistakes and, make it look better and trying to change the script so it sounds, a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more intense and a little bit more professional, I don't see why I'd just make the sound terrible. Well, not terrible. It didn't sound terrible. I should take that back. They deserve a little bit more credit than they get. Okay, here was another time. This kept happening throughout the entire project. Oh my gosh, I almost threw my water. This kept happening. This keeps happening through the entire project. Luigi just keeps vanishing. Where is it? Is it right here? Oh, no. Oh, okay, no. I'm mistaken. The edit that I did was that burn spot. I don't even know why I didn't see that. That right there. That's what I mean by VHS burn spots earlier. So, when the VHS starts to wear out, or, if it gets dirty, or if it, any kind of chemical, it'll start to have like these deformations or these little glitches in it. And so all I did is I just, again, previous frame where there isn't a problem, copy it, overlay it until it's just not there. And that actually happens quite a few times. I think so far it's like 10 times or something like that. And this one, I believe, yeah, that was just a little hiccup right there. Another little VHS spot. I also changed the lighting on that shot. So as you can see, the background is really dark blue, and then as the sun comes out, I thought that it should start to lighten up until it gets more and more like this shot. So it should go from this color sky to that color sky. But in the original shot, it's all this color sky, and it just didn't make any sense to me. So what I did is I had a gradual contrast change as it moves across until it matches both frames. And then here's another more or less hand-animated thing. So there's this cloud that moves later on. It just moves around and comes to meet Mario and Luigi. But it's the same cloud, I thought, that is moving it out of the way of the sun. And so when it comes to here, there is no cloud in front of the sun. So my idea was get rid of that one for now until it gets to right there, and then cover it or animate this cloud. So originally there was no animation. Now there is, I can see this. This spot right there is a little bit lighter. So what I would actually do later on is actually change the contrast on that until it matches. But yeah, so that's one thing that I did. A lot of the continuity stuff just drives me crazy. Okay, and I think this is as far as I've written the script. So as you can see, I'm actually quite a ways into it. Now, again, this is a project that I'm not getting paid to do, obviously. So, I'm just getting to it when I can. Let me show y'all this. Okay, so we're going to go in here. Okay. Now, this was actually a plugin that I found for Sony Vegas and for other programs as well, that is actually going to make the project look really, really good. And it is this noise cleanup. So I'm going to see if I can do this. You might not be able to see on the way that YouTube compresses everything. So, but you can see it's all kind of pixelated right there. Turn it on, and then everything smoothens out. Let's find a better example. I'll get to that in a second. Oh, here we go. Okay. Ugh. Come on. Okay, there we go. Just 'cause this bird's face was all pixelated. Okay. So it's kind of pixelated. It's got like these kind of blotches on it. Again, a lot of that is from VHS. So what we're going to do is we're going to... that is with it on, which is probably why it was taking me so long. And that is with it off. So you can see all these darker lines, these darker spots, these pixelated lines. But with it on, it looks a whole lot better. Now, I can't clean up this 100% because it is from VHS. If I could get a high, resolution digital copy, then yeah, you can clean it up. But due to the fact that it's VHS, it's just damaged. It's permanently damaged. And then someone took that VHS and then ripped it onto their computer and then uploaded it onto YouTube, or put it online. So it's gone through so many different versions or so many different downloads that I'm surprised that it's even usable. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, because with that app on to clean up the video, to kind of get rid of a lot of the noise, it slows down the editing. So you can see how I can just click wherever and it'll basically instantaneously go. But if I turn this on and it goes to real-time editing, it'll take a while before it buffers. So I leave that off. But when I'm done and I'm actually rendering it, then I'll actually turn it on. Okay. All right. So if there's no more questions, what I'm going to do is actually going to play the intro, the kind of intro to the whole thing that I made. I actually made this. This is one of the few things that I actually made. I didn't like the credit sequence that they had. The opening credit sequence that they had in the original, I actually moved to the end because I thought it was a better ending credit sequence. It's this right here. I of course cut out all of that, made another alpha, just added just a generic background that kind of fit what they had before, and so I could add video in later. But this, and I don't know if I have permission to use the audio. The audio is from, what is it? Let me see if I can find it. The stand-in audio that I have for right now is from I don't know. THEWCOOP Trap Remix. I don't know if that's the artist's name. I've been trying to find the original artist to that so I can actually talk to them about, you know, when we move forward, about actually being able to use this. So I don't know as of right now, which I don't think it's going to flag it. But if it does, then it'll flag it, and I'll just live with it. But this is the opening sequence, that the opening credits. I'm just going to play that, and then we're probably going to chime out. There is a little bit of audio. There is a little bit of audio. You kind of tinkering with the sound effects, just trying to get it a little bit ready and trying to find more or less the feel that I'm going with. Let's go ahead and pause that for a second. I don't know why I can't open it. Okay. Try that again. Now, again, I don't know the rights to this song. This was someone doing a remix. I don't know if they own the rights to it. I don't know where the original is. But if anyone knows, please leave it down in the comment section. So what would be happening here is that I would have the opening credits and then all the character or the names of anyone involved scrolling across in kind of a Mario-looking font. All right, and there we go. And that would be the opening credits. Again, I am maybe 3/4 of the way through the script. Similarly with the edit. And then after it's all edited and the script is all written, then I'll start doing like some casting calls. Maybe look for someone to do the music, ask that guy if I can use that music. Anyway, yeah, there's a whole lot of other edits that I'm doing. If anyone has any questions, I'll leave them down below. If you guys would like to see a follow-up video covering the rest of the edits that I've done to this as I move on, let me know, again, in the comment section. I guess I'm going to be heading out if anybody has any other questions. If not, then I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions and you don't feel like leaving it on the comment section, you can just email me. It should be at the bottom of all my videos. So until next time, peace.